Hey there, all you cool, epic, and awesome fans, followers, and listeners. Welcome to episode 58 of the Cool, Epic, Awesome podcast. My name is Matt, and I'll be your co host today.
And I'm your other co-host, Joe.
And on episode 58, we have a pretty big episode. We're talking about 4 films.
This will be the first time I think we've ever done that, right?
Yeah, we usually try to. It was supposed to be 2 per episode, I feel like, originally, but there's just so many good films coming out. And
we're just such big movie heads that we got to watch everything.
Yeah.
So we'll try to cram everything as much as we can.
Yeah, and I say such good movies, but 2 of these are like major flops.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so on the episode today we'll have The Wild Robot, which is not one of the flops, but that's the newest DreamWorks film that's been getting a lot of buzz. I think we both really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about Joker 2, Megalopolis, and Joe recommended last episode that we review the film Perfect Days. So we'll have a little discussion on that.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about our top 10 films of this century, which will be interesting to get to. But yeah, I guess to start things off, we could talk about The Wild Robot. I'll read a little synopsis quick. So, like I said, it's DreamWorks' newest film. For those of you who don't know, DreamWorks is responsible for Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, Puss in Boots. Like, they're not, they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
They're not as big as Pixar, I would say, but
low-key, I feel like they've been pretty good.
Yeah, aside from Megamind 2, which is my least favorite film of the year. Anyways, so here's the synopsis. After a shipwreck, an intelligent robot called Roz is stranded on an uninhabited island. To survive the harsh environment, Roz bonds with the island's animals and cares for an orphaned baby goose. So yeah, as the synopsis pretty much said, it basically follows this robot that crash lands on an island with all animals, and it just sort of shows how the robot learns to go against its programming and sort of discover feelings, I guess.
For a movie with no humans in it, is a very human movie. I feel like there's a lot of it touches on a lot of really core emotions, like growing up and trying to fit in. It's sort of, but I just feel like the biggest thing for me was Lupita Nyong'o's performance. I honestly didn't recognize her at all until towards the end of the movie. She sounds so robotic. I don't know if you agree.
That's just, she did a great job.
I know. Yeah. No, yeah. I'm saying it as a compliment.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think most of the voice cast was pretty good. Yeah. I liked not Oscar Isaac, Pedro Pascal. As the Fox. He was really good. Yeah. And I think the kid who played the goose is pretty famous.
Yeah, Kit Connor. He's on Broadway with Rachel Zegler right now, and I forgot what it is.
Yeah, I always see his name on Twitter. I think he's also in that show Heartstopper with
Joe Locke, the guy from
from Agatha.
Agatha, yeah. People want him to play Hulking in the MCU because it's Joe Locke's kind of love interest.
Yeah,
not Joe Locke, the Agatha character.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah, he was good though in it.
Yeah.
And I like the journey that it is kind of basic. It's pretty by the books as a story. You could kind of see where it's going from the start. Yeah. But I think that's fine. I mean, it's just heartfelt. It's wholesome.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say it didn't really invoke that much emotion out of me, which I was surprised about. I thought I was gonna get a good tearjerker moment, because I saw people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I cried 4 times during this and that," which I could see points where maybe there are emotional moments, where Roz kind of says goodbye to what's his name?
Mom.
No, Roz is the robot. What's the goose's name? He has a name. It's something Bright Bill.
Bright Bill. I knew it was someone.
Yeah, when Roz says goodbye to Bright Bill, and that's probably my favorite scene, honestly, where she's sort of running with the rest of the geese, the arms out. Yeah. And he takes off. I thought that was well done, scene. But I don't. In terms of emotion, there wasn't really
I feel like
anything
I kind of
for me.
disagree.
I don't know.
I feel like a lot of parents are gonna find it emotional. Like, you
Yeah,
think if our mom went to go see that, I feel like she'd probably cry.
yeah, she might. I mean, it is about like letting your kid.
He'd kind of go on his own and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It reminded me a lot. I don't know if you've ever. There's a children's book called The Giving Tree. It honestly reminded me a lot of that book. I don't know if you've read
I've
that
never read
before.
that, but like I know it.
Yeah,
What it
it's similar kind of like mother-child relationship, but I feel like it had to have some inspiration with that. I also I like the art style is gorgeous. The movie looks so good. It's
Yeah, I was
kind of
gonna
like
say I was a
the
big fan of the animation. Sorry to
it
cut you
reminds
off.
me of like the Puss in Boots kind of like wet painting style. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, it's a good what's it
Like a
called?
medium.
Yeah, I mean it's made by the same studio,
Yeah.
so that kind of makes sense. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of it was kind of by the books. Like I don't know what I expected, I guess, but it has like a 98% Rotten Tomatoes.
It's like 4.3 on
People are
Letterboxd.
saying it's DreamWorks' best film. Like, did you forget that Shrek exists?
Or
I
Puss in
don't.
Boots.
Yeah, yeah. Puss in Boots won, right?
Oh yeah, of course, with
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty.
No, I don't know.
But
I just feel like having all that hype beforehand kind of hindered me a little bit for it.
I mean, it's definitely a step above all the other animated movies this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's the best this year.
Yeah. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of got emotional in some of the moments, like that moment you were describing, like when he says goodbye to him and he goes off. Like that was kind of, I don't know. I didn't cry or anything, but it was like got me going a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was. I'm saying all this, but I did really enjoy it. Like I
Yeah,
gave it a good
yeah,
rating and everything.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we've seen this narrative done so many times, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, it's also you gotta remember it's a kids movie too.
Yeah, yeah, and it had a good message for
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So
Um,
what else can you really ask for in something like this? You
yeah,
know, it was entertaining. It was short.
yeah.
Just
Sweet, you know.
yeah, I
I feel
did.
like
There was
they'll probably do a sequel.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is
Yeah,
there a sequel potential? Because I feel like
yeah.
how it ends when Bright Bill pulls up on Roz. It seems like she remembers
She
him, right?
remembers him. Yeah,
I forget what
yeah.
she says, but
Oh, did she say like I'm a wild robot or something?
well,
Or
no, that's what she says when when she's like fighting against the
oh
robots.
yeah, yeah.
But when he pulls up,
Also, I don't know why I thought it was funny that like there's those robots and they have like the giant mech robots with like the fucking Megatron gun on the side of them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was kind of funny how like they just destroy like everything.
Yeah.
The entire island gets destroyed, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Like, why
No,
couldn't you just leave to begin with?"
not even that, bro. When they go on the ship and like they like that's like their ship, and they find like all the geese or whatever. Like the robots just start murking everything. Like they're just like blindly firing around, like blowing up everything.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny.
yeah. There was also I feel like I might have missed something, but I feel like there's a big plot hole
What?
here. So when they first go on the migration and they end up like in that robot farm with
Yeah,
all the robots trying to kill them,
yeah.
how did they get in there?
There was like a storm, and they like went in for like shelter.
Okay. I must have I don't know, I must
Either
have blanked
that,
during
it's
that
either
part.
that, or you're talking about the time when they go to rescue Roz.
No, no. It's like when they first go in the
When they
first
first
time
go, no, it's
and they
because
have to escape. Because I was
it's like
like, they're trying to escape. They have to wait till like a hole gets blasted in the side. And I'm like, how do they even get in there to begin with?
wasn't that to rescue Roz?
No, that was like when they first went, and then
But how did they
when
get back
they
out?
but one of the
Oh,
robots
yeah, one of the
shoot
robot. Okay, you're right. You're right.
a hole in the outside, and they escape through that, and then
They went
they
in.
end up killing the
Yeah,
older goose or whatever.
they went in, but they thought like all the robots, I guess, were friendly because they only met Roz, and they just
Yeah, but how
assumed that
come they couldn't just leave through where they came from? Did like a door
it was a
close?
vent. It was a vent,
Oh, okay, okay.
so you can't
Yeah,
really.
I think I just like missed how they got in there. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but again, very much a nitpick.
yeah, yeah.
Did you have a favorite scene?
Um, Honestly, I feel like a lot of the. I know this is gonna sound really basic, but the kind of pan shots where like it's very like there's ones of her like put when she puts her hand on the tree and all the butterflies kind of fly away, and
Hmm.
like one where she's on the top of the mountain and they kind of pan over like the trees and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of like very nice visual moments in the movie, but again, also the most memorable is probably when Right Bill flies away.
Yeah, there's a lot of very visually pleasing moments in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, favorite characters though.
I
I
mean,
feel like you want to go first?
yeah. I feel like it's kind of basic, but Oz. I love the performance so much.
Roz.
Fuck, dude, I'm sorry. Roz. But yeah, real honestly, probably the best voice performance this year. Um, I didn't realize how talented of a voice actress she was. She's having a good
Yeah,
year this year. Her and
yeah,
she
she
did
is.
this and Quiet Thing. Quiet Place.
Yeah. For me, I liked Pedro Pascal's Fox. It says on
Yeah,
Letterboxd his name is Fink, but I could have swore they were calling him Think.
Fox. Oh, I thought it was Fink.
Think. I thought they were calling him like Think. I swear I was hearing them call him that the whole time.
Nah,
But his name is Fink, Fink. Maybe I'm probably just an idiot because like I was like, why would they call him Think? It doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
But yeah, he was my favorite character. I just thought his performance was really good, and I liked that character's arc of kind of like not
yeah.
liking anyone, and then
Learning to like
eventually,
coexist with the other animals and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, and the fact that he's just projecting because like no one actually likes him,
like yeah.
that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it was a good movie. I don't know, it wasn't like groundbreaking. I don't think that it's gonna be like
No,
looked back on as
I feel like people are making a bigger deal out of it just because like you don't really see a lot of like original animated like IMAX release. This is an IMAX release. It's not like
yeah,
animated movies like this. Like it's kind of a big. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's a big swing to do an original animated movie right now. Because I feel like studios are so kind of franchise heavy, especially with animation. Because you can take
yeah,
animation, it's just a different form of media, so you can take anything and make an animation. So it's
yeah,
nice to see that
like
there's good.
Transformers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I love Transformers was great, honestly, but like it's nice to see new original stories coming out. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say, and we have a bunch
yeah,
of other movies, so
yeah.
get to ratings.
Yeah.
You could,
I gave it a 4 star, so an 8 out of 10. Again, like animation's great, really good performances, but it is kind of like a Matt said, a basic story. But that's not really a bad thing. Just you know,
yeah.
pointing out.
No, I also gave it a 4 star as well. I know I was kind of talking a little harsher on it than you were, but I
Yeah,
still think it pretty much nails exactly what it's going for.
yeah,
That story hits lots of good messaging for kids, and it looked good. Good visual, good visual. I guess visuals, good
yeah. Good
visuals,
visuals.
and good voice acting.
Yeah.
So pretty solid film. But I guess we can move on now to this is going
Yeah.
to be some more polarizing discussion
Polarizing.
here.
Yeah,
So you want to pull up the synopsis now for
yeah.
Joker
How do I?
Folie Ado?
Yeah, that's how I say a Folie. I do.
Yeah,
This is the
I
world.
think.
Yeah, I'm definitely butchering it. If for any of our French viewers out there, I'm sorry. Or listeners. The world is a stage. While struggling with his dual identity, Arthur Fleck not only stumbles upon true love, but also finds the music that has always been inside him. Okay, so this is honestly a direct follow up to the first Joker. I'm pretty sure it takes place like relatively soon after the original,
Yeah, I
right?
feel like they mention like, oh, it's been 6 months since
Once
or like whatever.
something
It's
like it's
some,
pretty short.
but yeah, it's like before his trial, the movie
Yeah,
starts, so
yeah.
it can't have been that long
Also,
after.
a weird detail. They also mentioned that there's been a movie made about the Joker at this point.
Yeah, like
Um,
they keep mentioning how it's like a TV movie.
TV
It's like a
movie, which whatever. But so eventually, Joker kind of stumbles upon this woman in a singing group, and that's obviously Harley Quinn played by Lady Gaga. What did you think of her performance, man?
I thought she was good, but I feel like her character was missing some sort of story.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I feel like this was marketed, and even in the name, Folie Deux means like madness shared by two or something like that.
It's supposed to be like two people that are both basically crazy.
Yeah, and she was billed as a second lead, but she really feels like a secondary character here.
And
which I know there were scenes in the trailer that were cut. Like, you could see like her walking down the stairs with him, kicking her leg, and them dancing. That was not in the movie.
The one of her like kissing that old lady in the crowd. That was out. There was like another one of her dancing down those steps in the Bronx, like by your college.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Like there was that other one where she was singing. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a spoiler what we're going into, but with the title, like Two People in Madness, it's revealed in the movie that she's not like mentally ill. She's like a psychologist, just kind of like in the comics. But psychiatrist. I'm sorry. But I feel like in the comics, she's like actually she becomes insane. But in this, they're just saying she just became obsessed with the Joker from the movie, and she like self-admits herself into the asylum, which I thought was kind of weird. There's bizarre story choice. I don't know why they just didn't make her a psychologist that went crazy. Like, it's just so much easier that way.
Yeah, I think it's just like different to be different. Like,
like it doesn't.
You have him in a situation where he probably would need a psychiatrist anyway.
Yeah.
So why not just make that her, because that is the origin of her character.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense. I mean, I at least like that they included the psychiatrist part, and instead of, because in the animated series where she originally got her first appearance, her story is basically that she was the psychiatrist for the Joker in Arkham, and she ends up falling in love with him and becoming crazy. But in this, it's like she, I guess, fell in love with him not by meeting him, but by seeing him on TV. So it's like kind of similar, but it doesn't make as much sense.
I just feel like I kind of don't even buy the relationship because they don't even really interact. They just see each other and then they just like are together. You know what? I don't know. It just felt very like forced. I don't know.
I mean, I could kind of understand that because I feel like Arthur Fleck would kind of just take anything he could get, like any sort of attention and love, especially from the household that he came from, like not being loved as a kid and whatnot. Yeah. I actually like in the courtroom scenes where they kind of go into that a little, and you see him sort of zoning out and ready to snap. He never actually does, but the one thing I want to talk about though is it's kind of, I guess, the elephant in the room is the musical aspect of it. So we had heard rumors before, and it was pretty much known there was going to be music in the movie. Lady Gaga's coming on, and they was just like, oh, there'll be musical elements, but there's not musical. There's not just musical elements. This is a full-on musical.
Yeah,
which I guess is fine. I mean, I don't know. I respect that it's different. That it's different. But the only thing, sorry, let me just finish this thought. The only thing that is really bothering me about it is just like how dishonest the studios are about this stuff. Like, you can't market a film that's a follow-up to a beloved movie and just not show any signs that it's a musical, and then be like, oh, why do people not like this? Why is this getting reviewed on this and that? It's not marketed as a musical at all. So when you go to see it and there's a song every 15 minutes, like, obviously people are going to get annoyed, and it makes sense why it has I think it has the lowest cinema score of any comic book movie ever, or what is it? Not cinema score.
Or whatever, Rotten Tomato.
No,
what? Oh, what is it? Score?
I don't know if it's Cinescore, whatever it is.
Cine rating, whatever.
The one that they like ask people when they leave the theater. It has like a D-.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like we see this all the time with the dishonesty with musicals. Like,
look at Wicked. Wicked is being, bro, like, they don't even have any songs in the trailer. That has a Broadway fucking play.
Yeah, I mean they do have songs, but it doesn't like show the characters really singing them.
But I mean, honestly, my biggest complaints with this aren't really about the music. It's more just like the story choices. The music like works in the sense that like it makes sense why the music's happening. Like it's not like, oh, why the fuck do they have a musical now? In the context of the movie, in my opinion, it makes sense.
I agree. I think that it makes sense as well, but I think it's a little bit repetitive towards the end. Like, I think this would have worked a lot better if it was just a courtroom drama following the aftermath of, what
Yeah,
happened in the first Joker movie, and then, throw in like one or two big musical numbers that last, like 10 minutes, five,
yeah,
10 minutes, instead of having, so many musical numbers to the point where I remember we were in the theater watching it, and by like the second to last one or like the last one, people were like, "Really? They're singing again?" Like someone made a comment in the
yeah.
crowd.
I was
You could
kind of
just,
annoying,
you
dude.
could
Like,
kind of like feel in the audience, like people were
yeah,
just getting fed up.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like if people go in with the mindset that me and you had, like we knew from the get go it was gonna be a musical. Like it's a lot more enjoyable. It's not a
Y-
perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely more enjoyable when you expect there to be singing. It's honestly more just like a play in the sense with the musical aspects, using characters' names from the Batman comics, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like
yeah,
Harvey Dent's in this. He doesn't sing, but he's a character in this. They use like kind of Batman character, but they don't really have any kind of like correlation with the
the
their
source
comic book, yeah, the
material.
comic book counterpart. I mean, they kind of have like a little wink at the Two Face thing with the explosion at the end, but it was very, very like
It was kind of like
cheesy.
they just had to do it. Like
Yeah,
it's
it
not
did. I
like
thought
they're
it was gonna be a
planning
lot
on.
better too. No, I know, but I thought it was gonna be like a little more. I don't know.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to ask though, because I've been seeing this go around on Twitter, and I didn't know Um, I didn't really notice this, I guess, the first time I watched it. So people are saying that there's a scene where Joker gets like sexually assaulted by the guards. Did you see it as that or no?
Oh, like in that first when the first time they like fuck with him.
No, no. It's like when basically when he's on TV in the trial, he makes a comment about like, oh, all the guards at Arkham are like fat pigs or whatever. And then when he goes back, all the guards that are usually nice to him kind of like beat the shit out of him, drag him into the bathroom.
Oh
People on
yes,
Twitter were
yes.
saying like, oh, they like
I think
sexually assaulted him, but
I
I
think
didn't.
it's implied because like the guy takes off his belt or something like that, or like takes off his pants or something.
I guess I didn't. I don't know. I kind of just saw it as like they were
I mean,
washing him down because of
it
like the
wouldn't
makeup. I don't know.
it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, like sexual assault and stuff like that. Especially, I'm assuming like in the context of Gotham, like that's not like the craziest thing in the world to hear like a guard fucking assault a
No,
Arkham patient. You
but
know what I mean?
but did you like when you were watching that scene? Did you think? Did
I
you
think
like know?
I subconsciously like picked up on it, but like I didn't like. I just was like, oh okay, like it didn't surprise me. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
Yeah,
kind of like a bold thing to do in a comic book movie.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's. I mean, that's like not. I feel like that's something that would happen in an Arkham. You know, like it's not uncommon.
yeah, I agree. Like I'm not surprised or mad. I just like when I watched it, I didn't realize that until
Yeah,
people started talking about it online.
yeah. I also like. Obviously, like they don't get along at this point in the movie, but I really liked Joker and Brendan Gleeson's character.
Yeah, he
Uh,
was great.
yeah, he was really cool. He kind of like has a liking to music, and that he. That's the reason why him and Joker and Harley meet in this is because he did. She's in a music singing class, and Joker to get to Arthur to join it. But yeah, he was
Yeah,
great. I actually really liked him in this.
yeah. Joe, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh really?
If it does happen again though, we'll cut it out. We'll
Okay.
cut it out. But I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right. So yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about was people. There are some people that are saying this is like a misunderstood masterpiece, and it's interesting how there's almost like a transition of the film world and the real world in terms of commentary on people not caring about like mental illness and not caring about Arthur but really caring about the
About the
Joker.
Joker. Yeah.
Because that's kind of
They
what
all
the
want to see the
movie's
Joker.
about.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Harley is almost a stand-in for the audience. When she realizes that, Arthur's a real person and it's not the Joker, she leaves him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, people walking out of the theater are supposed to be, when they realize like, oh, this isn't going to be Joker becoming, the Joker, the whatever, the kingpin of the
Gotham.
crime, or whatever they call him.
Gotham,
I don't know.
Kingpin of Gotham.
Yeah.
Crime prince, right? The crime
Yeah.
prince of the clown prince of crime.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
That's what the word I was looking for.
There it is.
But I understand that take, and if you want to call the director a genius for that, sure. But why would you do that for $200 million? And like, what does he gain from doing that? Like, oh, I wanted to make people walk out. I wanted to make people write bad reviews. Okay, now you're probably going to have trouble finding another property to make a movie on. First of all, you just lost Warner Bros. Millions of dollars, and your movie is not
honestly,
good. Like,
there's some blame on Warner Bros. Part too. Like not having any test screenings is kind of fucking crazy.
But the thing is, I think
$200 million budget movie and no test screenings.
They gave him full creative control, which I think is an issue.
Yeah,
there has to be like people overseeing it and people who know the source material overseeing this stuff.
Yeah,
that's why I think, I don't know if you saw, there was that news that big studios are going to start having a panel of like actual fans, and they're going to bounce ideas off them and be like, all right, would audience members get mad if this happened?
But honestly, I don't like that. I feel like that kind of is taking creativity and like trying to shelter it away, because it's going to make people do the most kind of mundane, safest picks in movies. Like, we're not gonna, like, if you think about like a movie we just spoke about, The Substance. If people saw that in a focus group of like, oh, like woman empowerment movies or whatever, just an example, and they saw that, then some of them would probably be like, what the fuck did I just watch? And like, they might discourage people from producing something that could be different.
Sure,
that's why
I understand. Yeah, no, I understand.
At least
I understand that point of view. Yes, however, that is not based on beloved source material. That the fans are coming to this because they love what it's based on.
That's fair.
So it's different.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know. Back to Joker. Performances were really good.
Yeah.
Joaquin was great.
Gaga was good. No complaints from that side of it. It was beautifully shot. Kind of like, there's almost like a fantasy tinge on it, like during the dance sequences, because it's obviously supposed to be like dreamy, I guess.
Yeah.
But did you have a favorite scene?
I like the there's two that come to mind. One is, I really like the scene where it's the alternate, I guess, in his head, I guess dream sequence, I'll call it, where Harley shoots him. It kind of just really caught me off guard. And I like how they used it at the end too, with the ending.
Yeah.
And that was one that came to mind. Then another was the what's it called? The musical number in the courtroom. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Where Joker goes up and smashes the
guy's head,
the guy with the mallet, and everything.
Honestly, my favorite scene is a little different. It's one of the courtroom scenes, but it's when they bring up that guy from the original Joker movie, like the short dude, and they kind of interview him, and he kind of like breaks down his kind of whole spiel. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that was a good scene, and also that that's kind of like when Arthur Fleck first is like, all right, fuck it, I'm going in as the Joker now.
Yeah,
and he does it. He does that whole.
Didn't he fire his lawyer right there? Or that's like,
I think that was before.
Oh, okay.
Because he was representing himself already in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good pick. I honestly forgot about that scene. All right, so before we move on, I think we should just quickly touch on that controversial ending. What are your thoughts?
I didn't really care. Like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. A lot of people were trying to say. So I'll explain the ending first. So, essentially, someone comes while Joker gets arrested again, and while he's in Arkham, one of the inmates kills him, and at the end, you kind of see in the background like him kind of. I didn't personally see it. Like you kind of see him doing something, but he's like kind of cutting his face, like the smile, kind of like the Dark Knight Joker. So a lot of people were trying to say that it's trying to be connected to the Dark Knight, and this is supposed to be Heath Ledger's Joker, which I don't think is true because it doesn't make any sense. The movie takes place in like the 70s or 60s, so the timeline wouldn't even add up. Like I don't know. I feel like it was more of a reference to it, if anything.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about it.
It's strange for sure.
Yeah,
I feel like because no other Joker has that smile. It's called like the Glasgow smile or something, where you like
really?
cut the smile into your face. Heath Ledger's Joker is the only Joker that has that. So making a character do that, I feel like is sort of implying it.
Yeah.
But thinking about it more, I don't. At first, I was like, dude, that's so stupid. Like, they're making this guy just become Heath Ledger's Joker, whatever.
Yeah,
Thinking about it more, I don't think that's true now.
Yeah.
Mainly because, well, a couple of reasons. One, the Harvey Dent thing, because I realized, he gets his Two-Face by getting the building blown up and half his face gets, like, fucked up.
Yeah.
That's a different Two-Face origin than the one in The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy, I forgot about that. Wouldn't even make any sense too. Like, because that movie is like in the movie before this, not Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne is like a 5, and in this, Harvey Dent's what 2030. Like, it wouldn't add up the timeline.
Yeah. But I could see how that's like a knee-jerk reaction because I had that reaction too. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I do kind of like it more now thinking about it because it's just trying to show that, the Joker is a representation of the unrest within Gotham and the people trying to fight back. And it's like, because Gotham is supposed to be a shithole. It's supposed to make people insane and whatnot. And just to see that, yes, Arthur Fleck is dying, but the Joker and that persona is going to continue to live on.
Yeah.
If I could have done the ending differently, I would have just made that guy who killed him just take Arthur's blood, maybe, and put a smile on his face with that.
Yeah.
I don't really see why they had to do the cutting up thing. It just like it's too similar to the Dark Knight thing. I don't know.
Honestly, I would have just rather Harley kill him.
Apparently that was an ending originally, and then it got leaked, and then they changed it. I don't know if that's true.
$200 million for a bunch of mid. Nah, it was like on a technical standpoint, it was really good, but story wise, Did it justify its existence? I guess. I don't know.
To me, it doesn't really feel like a sequel. It felt more like an epilogue to the first movie.
Yeah, I agree. Because it doesn't even follow up on a lot of the themes of the sequel. It's like a whole different story. I mean, the original one.
Yeah. It was just like a weird, I don't know, it's just like a bizarre attempt at doing a follow-up to the Joker. And there's like more and more weird shit that's coming out. Apparently, there's footage of when
Joaquin's at the Venice Film Festival.
When Venice Film Festival, whatever, they played the movie, there was a standing ovation. It shows like Joaquin and Lady Gaga clapping, and he says to her like, "Oh, that was terrible," or something, or like it looks like he says that. And then recently today, I saw like, oh, the idea for Joker 2 came to Joaquin Phoenix in a dream. And then when they pitched it to the studio, and the studio was like, what is the audience for this? They said, oh, the audience is Joaquin. So now they're trying to blame it on him. Like, it's just like, there's so much weird shit going on. I don't know. This seemed like an easy success to me.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you fail? It's the Joker. It's a beloved character. The first one was amazing. You add Lady Gaga. Like, how can you fuck up? And they just did. I don't know.
I
It
mean, I
makes me kind
respect.
of. It kind of makes me scared for the Batman too, because if you could fuck up Joker,
Well,
then
no, I'm
you.
not, bro. It's a completely different producing team.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Warner Brothers has been known to make pretty bad sequels.
I'm just curious. I'm gonna look at the crew on. So the producers for um the Joker are Todd Phillips, Emily Kroskiff, David Webb, Justine Kahn, and Joseph Garner. I'm gonna bet. Let me look it up. I'm just curious
That was
because this
Joker 1 or 2.
one. Let me see.
I could have sworn De Niro was a producer. Or no, Scorsese. I could have sworn
For some reason, it
Scorsese.
only says Dylan Clark is a producer, but obviously that's not true because.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Strange things.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
not too worried about like the future of the DC. Like I'm sure Batman Part 2 is fine. Like the Penguin, if anything, should be an indication of what the Batman 2 will be like. And so far, I mean, I think it's fantastic.
yeah.
Um,
All right. What about
yeah,
favorite characters? We didn't say.
um,
I like
I
Arthur
mean,
Fleck. It's
yeah,
hard
it's
not
kind of
to.
it's basic. Honestly, I like Brendan Gleeson's character a lot. I guess I'll pick him to be a little different.
Yeah, I feel like Harley was just underwhelming to me.
Yeah, I feel like they had Gaga there. They could have like done so much better. Like in terms of like what they could have done with the character.
Yeah.
Not like I'm saying Gaga's like a talented actress.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
But she's been getting unlucky recently. I feel like her last thing was House of Gucci. She was great in it. The movie
Yeah.
just sucked. Now
This
this,
was
she didn't really get a chance.
enhanced,
I
yeah.
mean,
Did you see like they said they might do like a solo project with her, but it's also like why?
nah, if this succeeded, they would, but they're not doing that.
Yeah,
There's no
just
way.
let it. He said he's done at DC, Todd Phillips. Which
Yeah.
honestly, I'd rather him go. Well, his
Go make
last thing
another
I think was
comedy.
War. What?
Go make another comedy.
Yeah, like War. I love War Dogs. Obviously, the Hangover series is great.
They got to do the Hangover 4.
Or yeah, where should they go?
I don't know. They got to do the Hangover cinematic universe.
Yeah, should do one called Hangxiety.
Yeah, that would be my life. That one.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do rating now.
Yeah, let's rate it. I gave it. So yeah, I gave Joker 2 a 3.5 star.
Yeah,
Although yes, I did talk bad a lot about the movie. There's just too much good stuff going on there for me to ignore. The performances, the set design,
the
the
music.
direction, the music, which
Yeah,
was good in moderation. Could have been, cut down a little bit.
yeah.
But it's still a solid movie. Like, it's well made. It seemed
I
like,
feel. I'm
I don't
sorry. I
know.
mean, I mentioned this to you after we saw this. I feel like people that are like, if I would have watched this movie 3 years ago, I probably would have gave it like 1 star. But I feel like people that are very big into movies and appreciate things like set design and props and costumes and stuff like that, like you're gonna give it kind of brownie points for because all that stuff is fantastic, but the actual story is just not that good. So I also
Yeah.
gave it a 3.5. So, excuse me. Like Matt said, performances are great. Set design's great, music's great, but just really bizarre story.
Yeah, very disappointing.
Yeah,
But because for context, Joker 1 was a 4.5, and
yeah.
I kind of expected that
I
level
thought,
of
yeah, I was
film
like,
out of this.
yeah,
Especially, I love Lady Gaga too.
yeah. I
So
wonder what her next thing is.
I feel like she's probably gonna take a break. Honestly,
You think so?
yeah. But
Wait, she's in the
whatever.
Muppets Most Wanted? I didn't know that.
I don't. She probably has like a cameo. I forgot. She's not like a main character or anything.
I was like, damn.
But all right. Next film. Let me pull up the synopsis for this one.
4. Yeah, so if you thought the Joker was weird, this is times fucking 100 in terms of weirdness. Yeah.
So the next film is Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. It's his magnum opus. This is a fully self-financed film that he's apparently thought about for like the past 25 years. He's had the movie in his head or something. I think apparently they tried to make it a long time ago, but for some reason they like didn't.
I think he said like the vision, like the technology wasn't where he wanted it to be or something, right?
I don't know. I feel like that's James Cameron with Avatar.
Oh,
For some reason, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like it had something to do with 9/11. I don't know. I could have just made that up.
Maybe, but anyway.
Anyways, I'll read you the synopsis.
Yeah.
So, genius artist Caesar Catalina seeks to leap the city of New Rome into a utopian idealistic future, while his opposition, Mayor Franklin Cicero, remains committed to a regressive status quo, perpetuating greed, special interests, and partisan warfare. Torn between them is socialite Julia Cicero, the mayor's daughter, whose love for Caesar has divided her loyalties, forcing her to discover what she truly believes humanity deserves. So, this is a very bizarre film. Just
it's just this. There's no like real starting point because there's just so much to fucking talk about. Like
it's unlike any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And in a way, I respect it for that.
It's definitely ambitious.
Yeah, some of the performances are just so bizarre.
Yeah,
and it's from actors and actresses who usually are great. So
yeah.
you know that they're capable of giving good performances, but it's almost like they're purposely delivering lines in a strange way.
It almost felt like an I don't know the term. Like an old English kind of the way they spoke and it almost like
it was Shakespearean.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't like the dialogue wasn't literal. It was very like I don't know.
Yeah,
like
you can tell it's supposed to be exaggerated. Like the film isn't supposed to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
At least I don't think. It's super exaggerated in the dialogue and
the performances, yeah.
Yeah. There's I don't know. There's like there's just so much weird shit with the performances. It's just like bro, there's one scene where I don't know if you remember this. It's like a random girl at a rally. She messes up her line and then says it again, and they just kept it in the movie.
Really? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's so weird. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's just none of Francis Ford Coppola's other films are like this. You know?
It's just very fucking strange.
And it's weird because Adam Driver, I feel like, was really good.
Really good, yeah. It's just a very weird. It's good. Like he's not like you can tell he's obviously like this is a strange performance, but it was entertaining. I thought at least like.
Yeah, I just want to I want to keep talking about it and see if like something reveals itself to what the movie's supposed to be.
One thing I feel like is interesting is like I feel like Caesar is kind of pushing for this, like for society to advance, and like the mayor is supposed to represent like our society now, I guess, and like how I guess we're not willing to kind of take the next because in this like perfect utopia. But honestly, like they don't even explain what makes it a utopia. There's this substance that I forgot what is it called, Megalon?
Megalon.
Megalon, which I guess is fucking Italian people's fucking vibranium at this point. Because I don't know, it's just this random metal that they don't explain. Like, but it has like every function. It's like literally like vibranium, where they just use it in everything in society. Like that's what happens in this utopia. Like at one point in the movie. Caesar gets shot in the head, and he literally has like a megalon skull. Like it's just very I don't know.
Yeah, it is. That is funny though. Yeah. I mean,
it kind of is.
It kind of is because the whole point of Megalon is like, oh, it could, we can make this perfect society. And it's supposed to be like net zero, like it won't hurt the environment, whatever. But it could also just like heal you from a gunshot wound. And he's like, he heals himself, and he like doesn't even want to be like, oh yeah, we can use Megalon to like heal people,
yeah,
and save people's lives. He just like doesn't bring it up at all.
That was another weird scene. Do you remember, like when he takes off the bandage and he's like fucking like whining in the chair?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was, it was just so weird, dude.
yeah.
Did you have people walk out when you were there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least 2 people walked out.
yeah.
I mean, it's a long movie, but it's
No,
not.
yeah.
It's not like that long. What was it? 2 hours and 40
40
or something.
minutes, yeah.
We
Yeah.
were watching Killers of the Flower Moon. That was like 3 hours 25 or something.
That was good though, to be fair.
Yeah, the thing is, I like this movie. I actually like it more
It's
than I
just
dislike it.
also I just feel like there's also a lot of fucking plot points that they don't follow up on. Like there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of characters, and it just feels like even what's his name's character, Shia LaBeouf. Like what was his? They didn't even explain anything about he's like why he was so fucking strange and like his relationship with his fucking sisters that he apparently fucks. Like it's just very strange. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's Caesar's cousin. I feel like he's supposed to just be the black sheep of the family. That's
Is he
just,
supposed to be like inbred or something or like?
No, I don't think so. He's like the black sheep. He has the long hair and he's kind of wild and he doesn't want to take over his father's business and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
I thought he was good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like Shia LaBeouf as an
No,
actor.
I do too, but like I don't know. His performance was the weirdest to me, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, his was strange.
Who was your favorite performance now that we're talking about this?
I think Adam Driver gave the best performance, but if I had to pick, I really liked Aubrey Plaza
Yeah, I was gonna
as
say.
as Wow Platinum.
Yeah, she was
She was
great.
she was great because she also was in this, I guess, stoic kind of society where all these characters that are elite and all this. She's kind of just like this news reporter who's very risque and she doesn't care about breaking the rules and this and that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time she was off
I feel like she
screen,
fits the character so well. Like I don't know, the performance just like
yeah, I was kind of waiting for her character to come back every time she
yeah,
was off screen.
Also, the name Wow Platinum is fucking cool. I like that they have just this ridiculous name like that.
Yeah, all the names are ridiculous.
Yeah, I like that it's New Rome instead of New York. I thought that was cool. It's basically.
Yeah.
I also took it as like his take on like, because essentially America is kind of the New Rome. Like they're a huge empire, so it's kind of his take on like a Roman epic.
Yeah, and that's why like I respect it. I think that I can see the big swings that he was taking, and I have to respect it. But I just feel like I just don't. At the end of it all, what is he trying to say? I just don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's also a lot of political, like commentary.
Yeah.
You know, they specifically. I feel like they try to make Shia LaBeouf's character sort of like a Trump kind of thing.
Really?
But I think so, or like he's like a Nazi or something. There's one part where he's at like one of his rallies. There's a swastika in the tree or something. So I don't know.
I didn't even.
You don't remember that?
No. There's so much shit in this movie, dude.
It's weird because they make him like Trump, but then they also have this subplot where he's like trying to use illegal immigrants to. He's like giving illegal immigrants money.
That was really weird. To like go to the rallies or some rallies.
Yeah, which is weird because like in our current America, the Republicans who apparently, if he's like, this is a hyper whatever exaggerated Republican, people say is like a Nazi. So that's what I thought they were comparing him to. But
I mean,
in our America, Republicans would not give money to illegal immigrants. That's like a democratic thing. So it was just like weird. Like, what was his character supposed to be doing? I don't know.
I honestly didn't get the Trump vibes. I just thought he was like a fucking weirdo, his character. I didn't really think it was like invoking Trump stuff, but
I don't know. I just say Trump because I saw the Nazi stuff and I just thought like, oh, this is supposed to be a super Republican, whatever. Not obviously, I don't think Republicans are Nazis, but
no, I know what you mean. Like
I'm just saying, like
the extreme of that is usually I get what you mean. I don't know. I really didn't like. And I feel like I'm good at usually picking up on that stuff, but I just thought he was. But maybe it was just because there's so much fucking going on in the movie that I didn't even. I don't know. There's also
I might have been looking too much into it.
Yeah. There's also that scene with him and and Aubrey Plaza's character with what's his name? Oh my god.
With
So he's
Shia?
the old guy.
Oh. He's Shia's dad.
Or his grandfather or whatever the fuck he is. What's the actor's name?
John Vaught.
Oh yeah. Where he's like, oh, like, look at my boner. He says to like his grandkid and like the reporter, and then like it's obviously not a boner. He takes
He's
the
like
blanket off.
He's like faking it. But the reporter is like his wife.
His wife.
Technically, yeah.
And it's a fucking bow and arrow, and he just like he kills Aubrey Plaza's character, and then like shoots Charlotte's character twice in the ass.
It's funny because I saw recently they like asked Francis Ford Coppola about that scene, and he was like, "Yeah, I just thought it was funny." He did like a Q&A thing on Twitter.
I kind of want to. Did you see him post he posted the Megalopolis like Joker thing on his Instagram story?
Yeah,
that was mad funny.
Someone was like, make Megajokalus a thing, and then he posted and was like, "I prefer Jokeropolis." Meanwhile, both films flopped completely. Yeah. This is probably going to go down as one of like the least profitable movies of all time.
But honestly, I feel like he didn't make this for the money, obviously.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't give a
Dude, he made The Godfather and Apocalypse Now.
He has like the fucking wine company. He's like so loaded.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Just strange. And honestly, I was really, really looking for this movie. But it's just like so strange.
Yeah, it is really strange.
I feel like it's going to be looked back on fondly, though. I have a feeling. I think when people come back to this and revisit it, they're going to think fondly of it.
Maybe aspects of this movie will be used in like the future of movies, like certain, I don't know, plot elements or stuff that happens. But I don't know if everything from this movie is going to be looked upon as like, oh, I don't know. We'll see how this is going to age. This is to be determined.
Yeah, we'll see.
It could age like wine, like Francis Ford Coppola's wine, or it could age like fucking milk. So we'll see.
Yeah, it could age like Luke Skywalker's milk.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if we could think of our favorite scenes.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Like I'm trying to think in my head.
Oh wait, bro! Before we do that, what was up with the subplot with like Grace Vanderwall? And
Who
like,
is that?
she's the singer.
That Asian
it's like,
lady?
No. It's like they're trying to find like a virgin, and then there's like a leaked video of her having sex, and they play it.
Oh, I don't even fucking know, dude. I honestly forgot about that.
That was mad weird too.
I honestly feel like I have to watch this again because there's just so much going on,
dude. And also, I'm pretty sure like that's why Caesar gets arrested, because it's like him having sex with her. But I swear in the video it showed it's like not him. It's just like a random person.
I remember them arresting him now. Oh
you
yeah, okay. Now it's coming back. Like, okay, I'm gonna remember now.
Yeah, you don't remember she performs and there's like 10 of her floating around.
I remember it now. In the that kind of MSG looking place.
Yeah, it's like Shia LaBeouf puts that leaked video on the screen.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, it's Caesar, but I could have sworn it looked nothing like him. I don't think it was him. I don't know. Strange things. Yeah. Strange film. I feel like we're missing a lot from it.
Yeah, it's hard to really kind of get into everything.
I got a favorite scene though.
What?
I like that kind of first kiss scene where they're out on.
On the steel beams.
Yeah,
they look like something out of a musical, like a Broadway show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so it is well done.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, that's a really good shot. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like I liked a lot of like the kind of trippy scenes of him on like the dartboard, and I'm trying to it's hard. I sound like I have fucking dementia when I'm talking about this movie. There's just so much going on that I don't remember.
Yeah, it's fair though. I mean, there's a lot to unpack.
I did watch this movie. I promise. It's a lot.
Dude, one thing we also didn't really talk about at all. He just like has a superpower to stop time.
Oh yeah,
they don't really
explain that either.
Address it. I mean,
And then
I see what they're going for. They're like, oh, artists have the ability to stop time,
or
and
like to look at things a different way.
architects, yeah, artists,
Yeah,
this and that.
I didn't mind that. I thought that was fine.
It was just like weird because he never really like uses it for
Yeah,
anything.
and then I thought his like it's implied his wife has it too. Like his wife can do it as well because she like when he does that. Remember, when, like they blow up that building in the beginning, and he's like stop, and then like the thing stops. Like she sees
Yeah,
that, and everyone else doesn't. So that was like I thought that was why he kind of like took a liking to her. That's like what I kind of got from it.
I think she was also supposed to be like
His kind of
on his level of thinking or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. That's
So,
why like she's so sympathetic to him is because I guess she sees like what he wants to do. Yeah,
yeah.
you know.
One thing I gotta ask: do you remember how this movie ends?
I know they're all in Megalopolis. It's
I
like
actually
shaking
don't
hands.
remember how it
They
ends.
shake
Oh
hands
wait,
at like
now I do. Now I do. The baby like crawls on the.
oh yeah, he puts the baby on the screen of the camera, and they put the
Yeah,
rug down. Yeah, I don't know. Was that supposed to be some like religious thing or something?
I don't know. Possibly.
But I don't. Yeah, very very.
I don't know. I like it though.
What'd you give it? No,
I
I'm curious when we talk about
I gave it
ratings.
a 3-star.
3 star. Okay,
What'd you give it?
I give it a 2 star.
Okay.
Like there's aspects of this movie that I like. Like it's very ambitious. Like some of the performances are really good. Um, but it's just way too all over the place, and there's too much going on. It's not very focused. I feel like it jumps all over the place.
I feel like to me, I don't know, it just has some kind of charm to it.
Yeah,
It's so different. It's so different than anything that's out there, especially now.
yeah,
And
it,
I also feel like people are taking it too seriously. Like obviously Adam Driver is a good actor. Like we know the girl Natalie Emmanuel, whatever,
yeah,
the girl from Game of Thrones, we know she's a good actress. So
yeah.
like when she's giving these over the top line deliveries,
Giancarlo Esposito's in it too.
it's
Like
on
it's
they're
very
doing it
talented
on
cast.
they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
Like it's not they're like, "Oh, the performances are terrible." Like they're doing it on purpose.
yeah.
You have to like it's almost satirical in a way. I don't know.
Well, you
I
gotta
really liked it. Well, not really liked
really
it,
like
but
that. I was gonna
I
say,
really
yeah,
yeah, no. I really liked it more than The Next Man.
yeah. But
So,
I mean, I'm trying to think of a more like of a specific favorite scene. I feel like the one I gave was pretty vague, but it's like we gotta rewatch this. I feel
yeah.
like
Yeah, I
it's
think
gonna need a
so.
rewatch. Honestly, I didn't see it in
Yeah.
IMAX either.
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX.
I
I
low
think
key,
that served
well,
it well.
I low key
The
did.
IMAX.
I low key wasn't really super impressed with the visuals though. I was self financed, so I'm not trying to like fucking shit on the guy. But I don't know. I didn't think they were like fucking amazing. They were like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
Guess we can move on from that. Let's
yeah,
get to some movie news here.
yeah.
Not too much this week.
Yeah, pretty light actually. Hold on. I actually have to open up the thingy.
So yeah, the first thing we want to quickly discuss is we got a trailer for that Ryan Coogler vampire film that's been being
Oh
hyped
yeah.
up, and it's called Sinners.
Sinners, yeah.
Stars Michael B. Jordan as himself and his twin, and it doesn't really show much about the plot,
Yeah.
but it looks pretty good.
Yeah. It's
It,
a lot more like kind of like voodoo folk than I expected.
yeah, yeah. I
Which is
expected
kind
it
of
to
shame.
sort of be like in modern times.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I like this though. It's a unique. It's like kind of a unique take. It looks like it takes place in like New Orleans or out some type of southern state.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's I'm just interested to see Ryan Coogler do a horror film
yeah, I was just gonna say that too.
because this wasn't really. I mean, we just knew like, oh, it's a vampire film, but just because it's a vampire film didn't necessarily mean it was going to be like a very scary movie.
Yeah.
But you could tell from the trailer the vibe they're going for is like
It definitely is
scary.
scary. Yeah, more than
I,
action, in my opinion. It looks like the horror looks more prevalent than the action.
yeah. Too bad
Um,
Ryan Coogler didn't want to direct Blade. He would have been
apparently,
a good
there's a
pick.
rumor that like this movie was like a rough pitch for his Blade.
his Blade, and they
He had
didn't want it.
apparently there was a rumor that he had pitched the Blade movie to Marvel, and they said no. And then he went to he went to Warner Brothers, and they're making it. It's just like I don't know if it's an exact movie, but maybe like certain elements of it.
Yeah,
Because at one point Blade was going to be set in the past.
yeah. Who knows what's up with
Yeah.
Blade? There's like a new thing every day of someone not directing it.
I don't think they're making the movie. Honestly, I'm kind of.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm feeling a little funky about the MCU, but that's another topic. Anyway, we also got the Last of Us season 2 trailer. I mean, it looks good. My biggest complaint is that what's the girl's name?
Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, they like she's not aged up at all. Obviously, like she can't fucking age in real life, but like there's a significant. I feel like there's a decent time jump from the first 2 games, so it's just a little weird. Other than that, it looks good. I'm sure it'll be good.
It looks good. I'm curious what they're gonna do with the story.
Because apparently the first game sucks. I mean, the second game sucks.
Well, yeah. I mean, some people. I don't know if it sucks. I never played it, but a lot of the fans of the first were upset with the story, where the story goes. I won't get into it, but there's like a significant thing that happens that would kind of be hard for the show to do. So I don't know. We'll see. Isabella Merced's in this season. Caitlin Deaver as well. They look good from the trailer.
What's his name is too as well. The guy who plays Commissioner Gordon.
I don't know if you're talking about J.K. Simmons or Gary Oldman, but I don't think either of them are.
No, in the Batman movies.
Oh, Jeffrey Wright.
Yes.
Sorry. I think he actually voices a character in the games, and they just like brought him.
No, yeah, I think he does too. Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah,
looks good. Not really anything like new that I didn't already expect to be in this season. So. All right, and then next we got a trailer from Lionsgate for the John Wick spinoff, John Wick Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. I think it looks really good. It looks on par with those John Wick films, which I'm a huge fan of. The action looks really good. Ana de Armas, I feel like, is a good counterpart to Keanu Reeves' John Wick, because not that she's not a great actress. I think she is. I thought her performance in Blonde was incredible. But I feel like she's also kind of could pull off like the less emotion kind of acting like Keanu does.
Yeah.
Especially from the trailer, I really got that vibe from her.
Yeah. So he kind of gives off a female John Wick vibe, basically.
Yeah. And
even a lot of the imagery in the shot in the trailer is very like John Wick-esque.
Yeah. There's a bunch of returning characters. I forget their names, but the guy who's kind of the head of the underground assassin,
the Continental, whatever the whole
yeah. And then Lance Reddick's character, which sadly he passed away. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they said like, oh, John Wick 4 was his last performance. So how is he in this? I don't know. I mean,
the scene was just him like him working at that counter. So I feel like it's not really that hard to. They probably had old footage or something.
Yeah, I feel like they might have reused footage for that. I'm not sure.
That could. It didn't look like an AI thing, which is good.
Yeah. And also, Keanu Reeves is in the trailer. I'm not sure how big of a part he'll play in the movie, but I'm glad that he's back as John Wick.
Yeah.
So, there's also a shot in the trailer that people were kind of freaking out over, which was like, there's like, the beam struggle, it's called, where it's like 2 beams of energy or just both hitting each other at the same time. I'm trying to think of like a famous one.
Well, Dragon Ball Z stuff.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z. Harry Potter has one. With like where the wands are both kind of, they do like a real life version of one where there's a guy shooting fire at her and she has a giant water hose and she's spraying him back and it's like a real life beam struggle. It's really cool, really creative stuff.
She throws a grenade behind the wall. I mean, behind the door and closes on the guy.
Yeah, you got to watch John Wick. Have you seen any of them?
Yeah, I've watched all 4. What are you talking about?
Bro, I thought you told me before you never seen John Wick 4.
No, dude, we talked about John Wick 4 on this podcast.
So what were you saying? Oh, I gotta watch them when I was talking about the trailer.
the trailers. Like I haven't watched the trailers you sent. I was behind. Yeah, we talked about John Wick 4.
Yeah, no, you're right. We did.
Yeah,
my bad. For some reason, I thought you meant when you said I have to watch them. I thought you meant the John Wicks.
no, when 4 came out, I watched all of them to like catch up.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, we actually did talk about it on the podcast before.
I had a pitch for 5.
Yeah, you did. But all right. Moving on. You can talk about this next thing.
So we got more news from the DC front. I guess we could talk about these next 2 things together because they're kind of related. Wait, did we talk about the Green Lantern?
Yeah, last episode we did.
I was just gonna say. So we also got official confirmation because it came from James Gunn, I believe, right?
Yeah.
He did there's a Bane and Deathstroke team up movie.
Okay, wait. Sorry, I messed up. This one didn't come from James Gunn. The other one did.
No, I think this did too.
I don't think this did. I'll
double
confirm
check. The writer, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he did, but I'll double check.
I feel like this happens sometimes where you like doubt me and then you end up apologizing.
No, but I'm pretty sure. He didn't make a post. Like Dynamic Duo, he made a post.
No, he said something with a writer. Like he said, "Oh, when he pitched the script to us, like we immediately."
Did he tweet about it?
It may have been that. What's the writer's name? It's the guy who did Captain America 4.
I don't know. Let me look up his Twitter. I'm pretty sure he didn't. But let's see. Dynamic Duo, whatever. I've just lost a friend to alcoholism. That's not it. Newest addition to Walk of Fame. Batman. He didn't tweet about it.
I look up James Gunn. Deathstroke.
This is important. That's why we're lingering on it. Because if James Gunn doesn't say anything, then
it's kind of like...
All right, the Hollywood Reporter said it. But there's nothing about James Gunn confirming it.
Like I saw some... I gotta look up the name of the writer.
Whatever. We'll just assume that it's confirmed.
Confirmed what? Anyway, so I mean I'm excited for this. I think it's cool to see these 2 characters kind of interact. It also said in the article, this is important, that it didn't specify whether Deathstroke or Bane would be the leads of the movie either, just that they were involved. So people were speculating and they think that's supposed to be Secret 6, which is kind of like a Suicide Squad adjacent, except they don't work for the government. They don't have like bombs in their head. They get paid. So, I mean, those teams usually do work. I feel like it's a good way to introduce a lot of characters for a universe that's like supposed to be established already. So I don't think this is a bad idea. I just kind of hope we get that comic accurate Bane. I feel like we will though.
Yeah, I think with James Gunn we will. I don't like the idea of doing another team. You're already gonna have the Authority. He has Suicide Squad.
They don't have
I just feel like it's too much. I feel like a Bane and Deathstroke, like even if you just call the movie Bane and Deathstroke, I feel like that would be cool. I like little team ups like that, you know? Like for example, Thor Ragnarok just having Hulk in it.
But I feel like
it's not a team, but
the only reason like these characters would team up together would be for money. Deathstroke is primary.
Do they not get along?
Well, why they don't really interact? And Deathstroke's a vigilante, and Bane is like basically, I mean, he's not a vigilante, but kind of a mercenary, I guess. They probably have to do some contract work together. That's like if it's just them, it's that or it's Secret 6.
I feel like you could figure something out with them, and then they bond over like their daughters or some shit. They're like fighting at first, and then because don't they both have daughters? Or like didn't Bane's daughter die or something?
I actually have no idea.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Deadshot instead of Deathstroke.
But I don't know if that's like they just did that for like the Suicide Squad.
I don't know. I mean, they could think of something, I'm sure. But
I'm gonna look up the writer. Oh, Matthew Orton.
Matthew Orton.
That's the guy's name.
All right. In the meantime, I'll talk about the next thing. this was officially confirmed by James Gunn. He
Yeah.
tweeted about it, and they're making an animated film that's going to follow Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, who are both Robins, and it's going to be called Dynamic Duo. At first, I was like, okay, a little animated movie about the Robins. Interesting. Anything that is like Batman adjacent, I'm interested in.
It's
And I'm like,
also they preface it's set outside of the DCU, so it's gonna be like its own kind of.
yeah, which I think is stupid, but
I like
I don't
that.
know. I don't know. But the story that they apparently are going with, based on the article, is that Dick Grayson and Jason Todd are orphan thieves. So they met previously before they were already best friends before meeting Batman. And then I guess they're gonna both become Robin. So are they Robin at the same time?
I feel like it'll probably
Like,
be a time skip.
it's just strange. Strange choice. I don't get why you would change the backstory of these characters, especially beloved characters. It's like we just saw with Joker. Like, people have a connection to these characters. People like Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Why would
Yeah,
you change what people already like?
but I don't think that's not like that far. They're both orphans in the comics.
That's true.
That's not the craziest thing in the world.
I don't know.
Dick Grayson's parents died in the trapeze thing, and then I think Jason Todd was just like an orphan. Like he just was in like kind of the adoption system. So I mean,
they're
it
supposed to be
could,
different in age.
yeah, but not like they're supposed to be like they're not like that far off. Like he's the next Robin right after he becomes Nightwing.
I thought after Dick Grayson was Tim Drake. No,
No, it's uh
Todd,
yeah, it's who's the first one? Dick Grayson, Todd, the other one,
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake, and then Damian Wayne.
I don't know. It seems like, and
But
also that
honestly,
name.
that's not even the thing I'm excited about for this movie.
What is?
So it also was announced it's going to be a mix of CGI and puppeteering. It seems like it's going to be kind of envelope pushing in terms of the animation. It seems very like a big swing, in my opinion. Like the animation company is called Sawbox. But the puppets look like, I don't know if you've seen clips of the puppets. They look like sick. I don't know how it's gonna work in terms of like fighting scenes and stuff, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, that excites me a little bit, but like you just said, I feel
I
like
feel like for me it's more I feel like I like animation more. So for me it's a little different.
I watched like a little sizzle reel, I guess, of some of their animation work. I don't see that matching the style of like action superhero kind of thing.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, all right, this is kind of going to be their answer to the Spider-Verse. It's going to be, young heroes that are whatever, the super stylized fight scenes and all this stuff, but it just doesn't really seem like it's going to be that. Not necessarily a bad thing. But I got to say, that is such a terrible name. Dynamic Duo. That's really the best name you could come up with.
I mean, to be fair, it's very, very early, so the name could change. I'm not the biggest fan of the name either. But also
Something you mentioned to me though is it seems like that seems like such a kids movie name.
I'm 90% sure this is gonna be marketed to kids. Reeves and Gunn are producing it as well, which is kind of cool. And Reeves also said like when this came out, he tweeted like a Batman and Robin story for families. Like, so I feel like it's gonna be like a kids animated movie. That's what they're gonna release it as. Which honestly, they should. I don't know why they don't release more animated movies. It's both Marvel and DC. Like Marvel, I don't think has ever had a theatrical animated movie release.
I just feel like DC has had so much success in adult animation. Like,
It's
just
success, but like,
stick to what works. What if they just did an
but like,
adult animated? I would like an adult animated Robin film set in the DCU that gives us the history of those Robins, because the new Batman movie is going to have Damian Wayne, which is the fourth Robin.
But we're also getting a Teen Titans movie, so they may explore that. You know,
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just it just
I
feels like a
don't
waste
mind
of a
them change.
project to
I
me.
don't mind them changing like comic stuff for the purpose of storytelling. Like if the story's good, then I'm for it. And I trust Gunn and I trust Matt Reeves, so I feel like it'll be fine. Like I don't think this is gonna be like a fucking $200 million. It's probably gonna be like what 50 million maybe. I don't think this is gonna be a big movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt. It
Yeah,
depends how expensive that animation style is.
probably like and I don't know. And also the director is I think a first time director, which is interesting. But it's like the kind of creator of the company, the Sawbox.
Yeah.
So I just like the fact that they're one. It's very kind of it's a big swing in terms of the animation and having it released in theaters. I really like too, which makes me think they're gonna have like more animated stuff in the future, which excites me. Um, but yeah, I feel like I'm more excited about the fact that a movie like this is coming out than the actual movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, all right.
yeah,
You want to talk about this last thing?
yeah. So, a while ago, we actually heard that Sam Raimi was going to be returning to directing a horror movie, his first since Drag Me to Hell in 2009, I believe. Uh, it's a movie called Send Help, and it's described as a horror version of Castaway mixed with Misery. So that'll be interesting. But they actually cast the lead, Rachel McAdams, who he obviously worked with in the Doctor Strange movies. I think she's a very talented actress. So I mean, that's obviously promising.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah,
Premise sounds really cool. Sam Raimi is one of my favorite directors, and Rachel McAdams is one of my favorite actresses. So
yeah.
seems like a match made
Wrestling.
in heaven for me.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
film. It's just like
Um,
that premise Castaway mixed with Misery. So is someone going to be like holding someone captive on an island, and it's going to be like
I
horror
feel like it's
themes?
gonna be they're gonna get stranded on an island, and she's gonna realize kind of throughout the movie that even though they're stranded, like he's kind of the person she's with is keeping her kind of captive. Like maybe he's like
It
fucking with their food, or like I don't know.
maybe he like purposely maybe it's like a captain and he was
He,
like, "Oh fuck, like we're gonna crash," but he actually did it on purpose.
yeah.
Something like that.
I'm really happy to see Raimi doing original horror.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see him working at all. And recently, I think
Yeah,
the other day they said he's in
and he's doing
talks
for
for
Doctor
Doctor
Strange 3,
Strange 3, which
which
is really
is
exciting.
yeah. He wanted to do the Avengers movies, but they said no.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why they said no, but I would
Yeah,
have liked
that
that.
would have
I
been
feel like
fucking.
those have to be you need an
You
Anthony
need
and Joe
corporate
Russo for
schlock.
that. Yeah,
It
you
needs
need
corporate
it
schlock.
has to have wide
Zero
appeal.
camera. It has to have zero camera movement and fucking dull color grading.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not like I'm not like trying to. I'm just being a dickhead, but it just would have been cool to get like someone with a little kind of sauce to direct those movies.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're a big fan of the Russo brothers' filmology,
Filmography. Close.
filmography. Cool.
Um
Like that new movie they're making. The fucking. I mean, we actually could have talked about that. It's called like the. What is it? It's supposed to. It has Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt.
Electric State.
Electric
I think.
State, yeah, which is apparently about like the animatronics from Disney become sentient and like I don't know. But if you look up the book it's based off of, the pictures that release like look absolutely nothing like it, so it's probably gonna be really bad. Anyway, we're going way off topic, but uh anyway, I think
Yeah,
that's
we
all the
can move
movie
on.
news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all the movie news. All right, so before we get to our last film, let's do our top 10 for this week. So I
Oh,
actually recommended this list on the last episode, and that's the top 10 favorite films of the 21st century for each of us. Let me make sure that I emphasize this. Favorite, not best.
opinion based.
Opinion-based favorite.
Yeah.
So,
I'll get your
yeah.
panties in a knot because you know I didn't like fucking I don't know Avengers or whatever some shit that came out in 2000s.
All right. You ready? I'll list my 10 through 6 and then you
Yeah,
can and we'll go back and forth.
I had I had two honorable mentions.
All right, you want to say them quick and
Yeah,
or actually you know
actually,
what? Let me say some first.
Yeah.
because I actually have some honorable mentions. So couple that didn't make my list. The Social Network, directed by David Fincher. Birdman. Her. Lady Bird. Poor Things. Oppenheimer.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I had a couple of mine that didn't make my list. Was Arrival, Get Out, Good Times, um, and Prisoners. That was another one.
Yeah.
There's a lot, dude.
There's a lot.
yeah,
Dude, it's because it's the past 24 years,
yeah,
So, all right, I'll start it off. All right, so number 10, I actually had The Revenant, directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. It's his role that got him his Oscar, finally, after all these amazing roles in his career. And I think it is his best performance, to be honest. Aside from him, pretty great cast overall. Tom Hardy, Domhnall Gleeson, Will Poulter. Just the ultimate story of survival. Love it. Number 9, I have Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is actually the most recent film to make this list, coming out in 2022. Not much to say about it besides that I love it, and Ke Huy Quan and Michelle Yeoh deserve the Oscars that they got for it. Number 8, I had Jojo Rabbit, directed by Taika Waititi. Great story about a German kid living during World War II, realizing that, you don't have to hate people just because you're told to. Does a great job of blending humor and drama, and there's some really heartbreaking scenes in this, as well as some really hilarious scenes. One of my favorite movies ever. Number 7, I have Raw, directed by Julia Ducournau. We talked about this a few times in the podcast.
yeah.
Just a movie that makes me sick to my stomach. It's one of the first movies I've ever seen that gave me that visceral, gut-wrenching reaction to seeing it and made me feel a response that was that what's the word?
Invoking.
That was just that real, I guess. I guess that's the word for it. But yeah, disgusting movie, and it's really good. Love it. Number 6, another Taika Waititi. I have What We Do in the Shadows. It's crazy that he has 2 in the top 10 on this list, but he was one of my favorite directors. He's kind of slipping down now, just because he hasn't been putting out that much great stuff. But back when he was in his prime, his style of comedy is hilarious to me. I love the mockumentary style of this. It basically follows like these 4 vampires that live in a house together in current day, and it's shot as if it's real. It's shot as if it's a documentary. So, I love horror and just that style. It's kind of like The Office, kind of like Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite shows. Just does a great job of taking the genre, putting it on its head, doing lots of, stupid little jokes that I love, like who's gonna clean the bloody dishes, and then it pans and there's like literal bloody dishes. Just a great movie. I think we talked about it on this podcast before. So yeah, that's 10 through 6.
I like the Nosferatu scenes.
Yeah, that guy. Apparently there's a show and it's really good, apparently.
And I heard they film on Staten Island, or it takes place on Staten Island.
Yeah, I think it takes place on Staten
Island. Yeah. All right. So I also like the preference. This is, like Matthew said, personal opinion. So don't be coming for me or Matt, in the comments. We're getting tight. All right. So my number 10 is actually Pirates of the Caribbean, directed by Gore Verbinski. This is just such an iconic movie in my childhood. Like, I grew up watching these movies. I hold all these movies so highly. I think they're so fun. I know it's obviously not. Well, I mean, didn't Johnny Depp get nominated for an award for this?
I think he did. I think it was the third one though.
Oh, but anyway.
Wait, which one?
The Curse of Black Pearl.
Okay, so the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 9, I had Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind by Michael Gondroy. It's just I feel like anytime I'm sad, I kind of put this on. It's just kind of like such a deep movie. The performances are great, and it was the first time I've ever seen Jim Carrey in like a non-comedy role. Uh, you know, really great performances all around. Number 8, I had La La Land by Damien Chazelle. This was another one that this kind of movie got me really into musicals. I never really watched musicals, and I don't know, something about La La Land is just like I don't know, the sets, the dance numbers, the performances are really great. Um, so what are we on, number 7, right? Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, 7. 7. I had the movie Silence by Martin Scorsese. I don't know why nobody talks about this movie. This movie's fucking amazing. It's set in like kind of back at a time in Japan when Christianity was banned, and it follows these two priests, and it's just such a good story. It's Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver. The cast fantastic. I don't know. I honestly think this is like one of Scorsese's best movies. I don't know why this isn't talked about as much. And then for number 6, I have Lady Bird by Greta Gerwig. I know you mentioned it before. It's just, for me, I feel like going to Catholic school, like it's a very relatable movie, kind of growing up and being a teenager and like dealing with your parents and stuff. I really, really like the movie. The performances are great. I always pronounce her name wrong. Sierra Rion, right? I'm fucking butchering it, dude. Yeah.
Saoirse Ronan.
Is that how you say it?
I believe so.
Damn, it's spelled Saoirse.
I'm pretty sure that's pronounced Saoirse.
Oh, well, never mind. But
you were close. You were close.
Yeah, she's great. I don't know why she's not in any good stuff now. Her agent sucks. But yeah, I don't know if you want to get to 5.
Yeah, no, that was a solid first 5 there. We had nothing in common, which is good.
No, I think I feel like our lists are gonna be.
Yeah. All right. Number 5. This one might be controversial, but I actually have Avengers: Infinity War.
Damn, I was making fun of that. Well,
I know, but I think it's the best comic book film ever made. And me being such a big fan of the MCU and such a big fan of comic book films, it just, to me, it is everything that I would want in a film like this. And it genuinely is really good, too.
Nah, yeah, it is. It is.
Like, the way that this film ends just completely subverts your expectations. And just bringing all these characters together finally, like all the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, all in one movie. It's like a dream of someone who watched Iron Man in a theater in 2008,
Yeah.
I think it's better.
Watching the movie too.
Yeah, it's better than Endgame. Endgame is kind of like that big conclusion, but this film is better, in my opinion.
The story's better, yeah.
Do I think that it's the 5th best movie of the last 24 years? No, but it's my 5th favorite. So I got to put it on. I have to have a comic book film on my list,
Yeah, I honestly didn't have one. Damn.
Yeah.
Number 5, I had Birdman, directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. Did I butcher that one too?
No, that was pretty good. I think it's just Inarritu, but besides that.
One thing that the biggest thing that stood out to me watching this movie is the camera work. It's kind of shot as like one continuous shot, and it's about an actor who he used to play a superhero, and he's kind of down on his luck, and he's trying to get back into like the Broadway movie scene, and it's just so good. And the performances are great. It's Michael Keaton, Emma Stone, Edward Norton's in it, I think too, right?
Yeah, he's in it.
Yeah, such a good movie, and honestly, the camera work is the biggest thing to me. It's just so much like, obviously they have like the way they edit it just looks like one continuous shot. The movie. They also have a scene where Michael Keaton walks around Times Square like in his underwear at like 2 a.m, and it was a real. That wasn't like actors. He just walked around in his underwear at that time, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that was like one of the earliest films we talked about on this podcast. I think it was on episode 2. or something.
That was like the first movie that I've really started to notice camera work. I was like, oh shit, like this is like I never saw anything like that.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, I'm very excited for his next movie with Tom Cruise.
Yeah. All right. Number 4, I had Black Swan, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman is my favorite actress of all time. And this is one that I watched when I was sort of first getting into film. And she gives one of my favorite performances. I think one of the best performances that I've ever seen. And the film basically follows this girl who's a ballerina dancer, and she is going to be in Swan Lake, which is, a famous, very famous production.
Yeah,
And she sort of goes from being this little petite, kind of doesn't really say anything, this and that, and then eventually she kind of takes on that role and becoming the lead in the play. And it's about her pursuit of perfection and how
it's very Whiplash like, right?
Yeah, in certain ways, definitely. And how that sort of affects her and how it ultimately leads to her downfall. And it's also just it's technically a horror film. It's very, very creepy. It's not as much horror as it is thriller, but it's very unsettling as a film.
Well, Aronofsky's like the king of making you unsettled.
Yeah. So it's number 4.
Yeah. Sorry, my phone closed out for a second. Number 4 for me was actually Whiplash. So another movie very similar to, well, not, but similar idea of like the pursuit of perfection and like what you're willing to do to be perfect, and incredible performance by J.K. Simmons. Like, honestly, I think it's probably his best role in like anything. I don't know if you agree.
I agree. Besides what? J. Jonah Jameson?
Maybe, yeah, but that's just more like he fits the character, I feel, more than anything.
Yeah,
like
no, this is definitely better.
Yeah, but dude, he's fucking ruthless in those fucking scenes. I wonder if like that's what kind of gave them the inspiration for not Homelander,
Omni-Man?
Like for them to cast him as Omni-Man.
Possible.
But also Miles Teller's in this. And Melissa Barrera, who used to play Supergirl, which is very strange.
Close. Melissa Benoist, I think her name is. Melissa Barrera is the one from Scream.
Close, but yeah, good movie.
All right, good pick. Getting into my top 3, I have one that you mentioned previously, actually, and that's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, directed by Michael Gondry. The film basically follows a future world where it's possible to completely erase the memory of someone from your mind. So obviously you can see where that concept would go. A lot of people go in to forget about their exes and things like that. And it's basically, the movie starts and it's kind of about this guy who is down on his luck because his girlfriend just erased him from her mind. So out of spite, he erased her. And it's just kind of like about realizing that when you go through breakups and when you go through traumatic things in life, it's good to go through that pain and recover from it and learn from it rather than pushing it away and trying to forget it. And it's a movie that has got me through a lot of tough times in my life, to be honest. And it's one that you can sort of watch it when you're going through different things personally and view it from a different lens. And I think it just works on a lot of levels. One of the best performances from Jim Carrey that I've ever seen. I know you mentioned before, Joe, that it's, he doesn't usually do the dramatic roles, but he was just so good.
My introduction to him in like the more dramatic stuff.
Yeah. But I don't want to ramble too long about it. But
all right, for my number 3, I had Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve. So this is arguably, in my opinion, one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made. It's so good on so many levels. Like from every single the performances are great, the story's great. It's shot beautifully. Like, there's so many good action scenes. Like, I could talk so much positive about the movie. And for the original, like, I really didn't like I wasn't really a big fan of the original movie. So going into it, I didn't really expect much, but it's fantastic.
It's a good pick. Is that your favorite of Villeneuve?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
That
respect
or
it.
Dune 2. I think I like this a little better than Dune 2, but
Yeah,
it's
fair.
close.
All right, so number 2, I actually have, and this was my favorite movie of all time for a while. I have Mid 90s, directed by Jonah Hill. Just a story about a 13-year-old kid who lives in LA in the 90s and him sort of falling into the wrong crowd and, going through family struggles and, learning about what's right and wrong in your life and just growing up. It's a good coming of age story. Love the aesthetic of the film. Love the main character. It's another one that, when I was first getting into film, I watched it and I was like, okay, there can actually be films that make you feel something other than just toss it on to entertain yourself,
Yeah,
especially that the car crash scene really stuck with me. I feel like
yeah,
watching that was unlike any scene that I've seen before, Obviously
yeah.
now that's not anything insane, but
Nah, I
it's
feel like it draws reality back in, kind of.
yeah, I don't know. This is definitely a very personal one for
Yeah,
me. If you looked at a lot of people's best films of this century list, I doubt this would be on anyone's, but very personal film for me. So
yeah, fair. Um, so number 2 for me is Little Miss Sunshine, directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valera Ferris. This follows a story of kind of a group of a family essentially, and they all have their issues, but it's just them on a road trip getting this little girl to a beauty pageant, and it's just like a story about a family, and it's just such a like an emotional kind of, I don't know, like coming, I don't want to say coming of age, but like people that have ever like experienced family issues and stuff like that, like it's a very kind of relatable thing, and people coming together and stuff like that. I feel like I'm describing it weirdly.
yeah, I mean, it's just like a heartwarming film about a family kind of overcoming their differences.
'Cause, yeah,
But I'm pretty sure I recommended that to you,
yeah, you did. I
so you're
cried during
welcome.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely cry-worthy moments in there. Paul Dano's in it.
yeah.
Has a pretty good cast when he's young.
What's his name? Steve Carell, Tony Colletti.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
all right. So to get to my number 1, I'm pretty sure, Joe, you probably already know what this is going to be.
yeah,
And if you listen to the podcast, you know. My favorite movie of the 21st century so far is Arrival, directed by Denis Villeneuve. This is a film for me that just works on pretty much every level. Brilliantly made, visuals are stunning, great story. I love sci-fi, and I love the themes that it goes for. It's one of my favorite plot twists that I've seen in a film.
yeah,
Won't say much about it in case you want to watch, but it has to do with language and time. That's all I'll
hmm,
say. And I also love the theme about, making sure to live life, and life is about the moments. It's not necessarily about the end goal.
yeah,
If you know something is doomed for failure, would you still do it anyway to experience it? Similar kind of in ways to Eternal Sunshine.
yeah,
But yeah, I
yeah,
don't see any film really beating this for me anytime soon, but
yeah.
you never know.
I feel
We'll
like
see.
it's gonna be end up being like a random movie that kind of comes
Craven
like
the
it's not gonna,
Hunter.
yeah, something like that. Dogman,
Yeah,
uh,
Megalopolis on
Megalopolis.
rewatch.
Well, yeah, one in like 5 years. All right. So my number 1, Matt, you probably know what this is already. Is a movie you recommended to me, Mother, directed by Darren Aronofsky. And it follows the relationship between this woman who marries an author who hasn't been able to write a book in a while, and it's just kind of this super anxiety inducing, almost like epic. Like there's a lot of like biblical kind of implications with this. It starts off very simple and gradually progresses to this like crazy kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, like anxiety inducing movie. It's the most intense I've ever felt watching a movie. This is the only movie I've ever had to pause at certain points to like kind of calm myself down. It has some fucking crazy scenes. Probably the most disturbing scene I've ever seen in a movie, probably ever, is in this movie. And I think you know you know the scene I'm talking about, Matt.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, with the like just that with like the like the line, not line, yeah, the lines like in that scene. It's just very, I was like, damn,
Yeah,
that was a crazy movie. I love that movie.
yeah, I love it too. We talked about it on the
Yeah,
podcast
we
before.
did, yeah.
If you want to hear that, go check out like
Yeah,
episode 4 maybe of our podcast. I don't know,
yeah.
but yeah, that was
Why did
that.
you recommend this? I forgot what made you recommend this movie?
I just really liked it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh, there wasn't really
yeah,
anything in particular. I just
yeah,
thought it would be an interesting discussion. That's also one that does well with sort of talking about the themes of it and what does it all
yeah.
mean. Because it's like,
There's a lot of
there,
themes.
yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can go with what the meaning
Yeah,
of the movie is. But
there's like the biblical meaning. There's the meaning with the environment. Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. So, all right. Well, that was a good list.
yeah,
I think hopefully we don't get shit
yeah,
on again.
yeah.
But
I mean, speaking of Aronofsky, though, I'm very excited for Caught Stealing.
yeah, they're filming right now in New York. There were
Yeah.
some set photos. So
One of the days I was in the city and I saw like the trucks, but there was nobody around. Like
yeah,
they have like mad, it was just like mad fucking of the like uh trailers or like for the actors and actresses.
yeah. I don't know where they're filming, but I'm pretty sure I might have walked past it when I was last Thursday. I went to see a random movie, but I went to see VHS Beyond in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and it's IFC Center is kind of by like NYU area where Union
Like
Square
Union
is,
Square, yeah,
and we walked. I was with my buddy, and we walked through Union Square to get to the bus stop. And as we were walking towards it, there was signs on the street that was like, "Oh, filming here Monday, Tuesday, whatever," but it didn't
yeah,
say what movie. I don't know if it was that.
yeah,
I don't know. You never know in the city. It could be anything.
yeah.
But
For those of you that don't know, I'm sure most of you know, but me and Matthew live in New York, so we're in the city fairly often.
yeah,
But
we're lucky in that way. We get a lot of
yeah, yeah.
releases that, like, if
They're
we
like
want to see a film, we'd be able to see it. Like,
yeah,
there's no way that a movie would not
like
be
any
in
like
New
all the
York.
big international movies release here. Like there's always like even this like when we went to go see the, I don't know if we spoke about this, but when we saw A Different Man, we got to see it with some, did we speak about that?
I think I might have mentioned it
Yeah, but
last
we got
episode.
to not a meet and greet, but a Q&A with Sebastian Stan and the other actor in it and the director, which was really cool. And we always get to kind
Yeah,
of do stuff like that, which is nice.
yeah. Being in New York is. I got to see Yorgos, Emma Stone in person. Got to see Austin Butler, Jesse
Yes.
Eisenberg.
Yeah,
Lots of people.
we're really lucky in that sense.
Yeah, missed out on. This weekend was Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh did a
Yeah.
Q&A for We Live in Time. Got a ticket. AMC refunded me and then reposted. And then I didn't get a ticket on the second time. So kind of got scummed. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You want to
Yeah.
move on now? Move
Yeah.
on now, though. I mean,
Yeah.
so you want to give the synopsis for this film?
Yeah. So I recommended a movie called Perfect Days, directed by Wim Wenders. So this is the synopsis. Hiromaya is content with his life as a toilet cleaner in Tokyo. Outside of his structured routine, he cherishes music on cassette tapes, books, and taking photos of trees. Through unexpected encounters, he reflects on finding beauty in the world. This movie is very, very simple. It's very basic. It's not like a crazy plot or premise. It's literally just following around this guy, Hiromaya. I'm definitely butchering the name of, and it's just his daily day-to-day life and his interactions with people, and it takes place in Tokyo. And I actually really like this movie. I know it's simple. I know it could be a little long. It's 2 hours, but I'm such a sucker for like the scenery of Tokyo. Like I visited there. It's one of the best cities in the world. So I loved all the imagery and like just the noise. It just sounded like you're just sitting in a park in Tokyo. It was really really cool. I don't know. My perspective of it was probably a little different from you, Matt.
Yeah, there's a lot that I appreciated about it. I think the main character is very likable, which helps
Yeah,
in a film like this because you're kind of not that he's necessarily trying to reach a goal, but like you're rooting for
for
him
him. Yeah,
throughout. I do like you mentioned, I like how low level it is and essential everything is. It's just kind of his day to day, just
yeah,
watching this guy clean toilets. But there is like something uh, comforting about the idea of
yeah.
just finding
Peace.
joy and peace in just the day to day of just living your
Yeah,
life, you know, being in a routine, just
yeah.
enjoying. This
Being
guy
s-
cleans toilets and he's
he's so
still
content. Like he's
is
just
just
so. All
yeah.
he
I
does
feel
is
like
fucking. Well, I'm sorry.
that's kind of like what it was going for, I think,
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. He's just like such a simple dude. He just fucking listens to his cassettes. He's like a super nice guy. He lends money to his coworkers and stuff. Like he's just a vibe, dude. Like I love
he does,
him.
he doesn't talk a lot.
Yeah, yeah. There's not a lot of dialogue in the movie, honestly. It's mostly just the kind of sights and sounds of Tokyo.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they showed dreams in the movie. It's like a
Yeah,
random thing, but
they were
it
like
was
black and white, and it was
it's
kind of
very
like
specific. There was no
yeah,
sound.
there's like images of stuff. Um, but yeah, I thought the music was really good too. I like the music as
Yeah,
well.
that's another
Um,
thing. Great music.
yeah, and I just I don't I the imagery was the biggest thing to me, and I like that a lot of people talk like Tokyo's obviously a massive city with huge buildings, but it's more focused on the kind of smaller kind of parky areas, which are nice. And a couple things I also like too was so like the kind of place he takes a bath in.
Yeah.
Those are like real. That's like a people actually go and do those things.
Is it
Like
like a public
yeah,
thing?
like I did that when I was there.
So you could just go in there and bathe yourself?
Yeah, and you sit on those little chairs and like you kind of clean yourself, and they have the tub that you can go into. It's actually really nice. Like it's very like chill.
So you were just in there naked, a bunch of other random people?
It was like me and a bunch of random Japanese men.
That's sick.
Yeah, I was vibing out. I was the hairiest guy in there.
They're
But
probably impressed with you,
yeah,
honestly.
they probably thought I was like a fucking hobo with all the hair I had. But
um,
that also like a lot of I know this was really like stupid, but the scene where he interacts with the British tourist, which she's like kind of like, oh, how do I use the?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know why. Like that's just such a cute, simple scene, and like her trying to speak Japanese to him. I thought that was like a really cute scene, and then him just like appreciating her trying to speak to him. Little things like that I really liked.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed the scene where he's under the bridge talking to that guy and
Oh, at
like
the end,
yeah, he gives him the drink
the
and
drink
they
and the
like
cigarette.
the shadows are like trying to play
Yeah,
tag with each
it was
other.
just
I
like
don't know.
very like fun, like very
Yeah, you kind of see where his character progresses to over the
yeah,
course of the story. Thought that
yeah.
was a great scene.
I was gonna
Um,
ask you, what did you the ending scene? What did you think about the ending scene?
Remind me of it again. Sorry.
So it's him driving, and what song was playing in
Oh,
the
it's that song. Yeah, it's yeah, and he's like crying, right?
crying and smiling. He's like crying. He'll have scenes of him like tearing up, and then like he'll start smiling, and then like start tearing up. So
Yeah,
I was
it
it.
was like a famous song. I forget the name of the
Yeah,
song too, but I actually like that.
yeah.
I don't really know what I guess it was. I think it was. I wouldn't think it was like sad tears. I think he was like happy.
So
It was
I
like
looked it up online. So apparently in the script, it was supposed to represent like the triumphs and troubles of life, of like going of ups and downs, of being like having down points in life and then coming back up and being happy. I don't. It was just kind of interesting.
what like the overall movie is supposed to mean
No,
that.
like hit that scene specifically
Oh,
is supposed to
oh, oh.
represent like the ups and downs of life, like his expressions,
Yeah, yeah.
which is kind of interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I'm
I don't really
surprised
know how.
this is random, but I'm surprised like a white guy directed this.
Yeah, I said I was really interested. Like, I'm not sure how that worked. I don't know just who wrote it. Oh, it has a Japanese writer as well.
Yeah, because it seems very like locally made in a way, and just like I feel like you'd
Ye-
have to understand the culture and understand the language,
Yeah,
to
like obviously I'm not here being a fucking Italian American dude from Staten Island saying I understand Japanese culture, but like having been there, I feel like I like know at least a little bit. So like there's things that I noticed in the movie that like just happen in day-to-day Japan.
yeah. You're a
Um
weeb.
I'm a weeb, yeah, I'm a big weeb. That's what I
I
just
like the movie. I don't understand like the love for it. It has a 4.3 on Letterboxd.
yeah, it's good. It's good, but I don't it's not like groundbreaking. I think it's very like fun. Not fun. It's just very relaxing. It's very comforting.
Yeah, it's I think for a film that's about practically nothing, like in terms of what's physically happening.
Yeah, there's
It's
like
just a guy
some
cleaning
little thing.
toilets.
Yeah.
Obviously there's meaning behind it. I'm not saying that it doesn't mean anything, but it shouldn't be over 2 hours long.
Yeah, I think it could have been
It
90
sh-
minutes, honestly.
it shouldn't. Like at a point in the film, I was just feeling myself like getting a little bored.
Yeah.
I was like itching to look at my phone. Like I don't know. It could just be my attention span, but at the same time, like I've appreciated films like this before, where it's kind of just inconsequential, just things happening.
Yeah.
Um, Something about this though, maybe it was the language. I don't know. It was hard for me to stay invested with it. I think it was a
Really?
bit too long. I did really like it though, but
I don't like I don't know. I feel like I could have like just watched this dude walk around like I don't know. I just liked it. Like his vibe and like there was no real kind of plot. It's just him kind of day to day listening to
yeah,
music.
which again is good, but for 2 hours plus, I think it's unnecessary.
Fair. I mean, it's a fair criticism.
Yeah, but I don't really have much else to say about it. Hirayama is my favorite character.
Yeah, me as well. Did you have a favorite scene?
I mentioned it, the scene under the bridge.
Oh, yeah. My favorite scene is honestly when the song "Perfect Day" comes on. It's like him riding the bike, like with the sun coming out. There was a lot of good imagery in the movie.
Yeah, there was lots of cool shots. I also like the aspect ratio that they used.
Yeah,
I thought it fit the movie well.
yeah. I kind of want to watch. The writer of this has another movie about like a guy from Japan who moves to Hawaii and like falls in love with someone there. I kind of want to watch it now because I like this.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking at this guy Koji Yakusho.
Hmm.
Definitely could have butchered that. But he's also in this movie Cure, directed by Kurosawa, who I've heard people say is like one of the best horror movies ever, and he plays
Really?
the lead. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I that might have just went up to the top of my list.
What's it called?
Cure.
Cure. What's it
S-
about?
A detective starts spiraling out of control when a wave of gruesome murders with seemingly similar bizarre circumstances are sweeping Tokyo.
Interesting.
Hearing Tokyo at the end probably made your
Yeah.
eyes light up there,
My
right?
weeb eyes started jumping up.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say about it. I feel like there's not as much to say.
Yeah.
I liked it. I
Yeah,
didn't love it.
it's very simple. There's like little themes like at some point like his niece like starts joins his life for a little bit, like she runs
Yeah,
away from
yeah,
home and like his he has a sister that's like very wealthy and
yeah.
he's like
She
just
comes
a
back, right? And they like,
yeah.
there's that
They
scene of
just
him hugging her.
hugging her, yeah. And you could tell like he was obviously upset because he liked having his niece around, but um you know, like themes of family and stuff like that, but nothing super deep or anything like that.
Yeah, I guess to rate it, I gave it a 3.5 stars, 7 out of 10. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It's not offensive in any way. It's good. I like following this character around. Yes, he doesn't do much, but he's very likable. So I'll enjoy watching him clean toilets. I just think that it went on a little bit too long for my liking, and I found myself a little bored, to be honest. So
Yeah, it's fair. I gave it 4 stars, so 8 out of 10. Like Matt said, those are fair criticism. It is pretty long, and nothing really does happen in the movie. But I'm just such a sucker for anything in Tokyo, and it honestly reminded me so much of when I went. It made me miss a lot. Like the sound, like just the way it's shot, the interactions with people. I really enjoyed it. This is like gonna be like a comfort movie for me. I feel like anytime I miss that trip, I'm gonna throw this on.
all right, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah.
all right. I guess that'll do it for the episode, right?
Yeah.
We got some. Let me pull up some questions from the Q&A, but besides that, let's see what you guys have been asking us. Just a reminder, if you're new or if you don't know, I post question polls on the Instagram for you guys to ask us questions. Or if you want, you could simply just reach out with a question to either me or Joe or the podcast, and we'll answer. We'll answer it, unless it's very strange. So this one is from the Wasteland Reviewer on Instagram, friend of the podcast, and he asks, what film has the best chance of being a box office hit for the rest of 2024? It's a good question.
Honestly,
Jumping to mind, Venom, maybe?
Yeah, I was just gonna say Venom. Venom 2 is probably gonna be
Venom 3.
Venom 3. I'm sorry, it's already projected like 120 million opening weekend.
I can't really. Nothing jumps to mind.
Yeah,
but there's definitely. Let me pull up.
Maybe Wicked, Gladiator 2.
Yeah, Wicked actually I think is going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I think so too. I actually love Wicked. It's one of my favorite plays, so I'm excited for it.
I feel like Sonic 3 could do well.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be like 500, 600 million range.
Nosferatu, I wish would do well, but I don't think. I think it'll do fine.
It'll probably, yeah, we'll see.
The Northman did fine, so I think Nosferatu
It did
will
well,
do fine.
like when it went to streaming, right?
Yeah. They ended up. I remember there was some article about how they made their money back when digital. Aside from that, I think Terrifier 3 is going to do better than people expect. I don't think it's going to make like $1 billion or anything.
No, it'll probably make like, it has a chance to make like 100.
I think it'll make like a couple $100 million.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Which would be crazy.
Yeah.
Let me think. Besides that, nothing really jumps to mind. Mufasa, actually.
Oh yeah, there's fucking out of the woodwork. Those random millennial moms are gonna come watch that.
And Moana 2.
Oh yeah, fuck.
That
I forgot. Yeah, that's another one, dude.
Yeah, I'm just looking, and it's all Disney. The fucking just the Disney shills.
Yeah. Did you see the shit that they said about Fortnite? Like they bought all that stock in Fortnite, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't want the Disney characters to have guns." It's like, bro,
yeah, they said some of them are allowed to hold guns. Some
like,
aren't.
bro,
they probably just don't want like princesses holding guns.
Nah, fuck that, dude. If Disney bought all that money, I want to be able to like 360 no scope fucking Cinderella from Tilted Tower. I don't want to. That's just so stupid. Like, it's a fucking shooting game. Like, I don't know.
You want to be Billy the puppet and
fucking
and Teabag Bell.
Teabag Bell, yeah. Nah, I'm not that type, but I'm just saying the principle of it's stupid.
Yeah. All right, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Now we have another one from @Anton_KinoLove on Instagram. Thank you for the question. I remember you asked us one last episode, so thanks for asking another. And he asked, what's your favorite movie with Tom Hardy? That is a good question. Let me pull him up and look at his filmography. But jumping to the forefront before I get to anything, Mad Max. Let me see. All right, now I got it up.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Oh, The Revenant. I just talked about it before. He's great in The Revenant. He plays like the villain. So,
oh really?
The story of The Revenant is basically Leonardo DiCaprio's character gets left for dead, and he gets revenge on the person who left him. And the guy who left him was Tom Hardy.
Somebody.
He's good as Bane, you know.
Yeah, he's good in Bike Riders too.
Yeah, he was really good in Bike Riders. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Mad Max.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Mad Max.
He's great in that.
Yeah, I mean he's also obviously not his best, but he's good in Venom too. I think he's funny in Venom.
Yeah, he's good in Venom.
Yeah.
But all right, thanks for the question.
Yeah.
Next one is from at Joel_Villarreal36. Another one that asked us a question last time and asked another, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Are you looking forward to Kraven the Hunter?
No.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no.
I hope the only thing that gets me somewhat excited is the fact that it's rated R.
Rated R, yeah.
Besides that, it just is going to feel like I have to watch it just because. But,
yeah,
you know, it could be worse. Will it be better than Joker? That's the question. Will it make more money than Joker?
Honestly.
Because Joker 2 only made like 37 mil. It did worse than Morbius.
It needs to make like 400 mil to make a profit.
Yeah, it's not. There's no way.
It might like eventually down the line.
Yeah. But thank you for the question.
Thank you.
All right. I guess that'll wrap up the episode. Maybe, Joe, you want to give your list recommendation for next week?
So, since like we're getting into we're in Halloween season now, I wanted to do kind of a horror list. So I was going to do our top 10 horror movies from the 80s.
Nice.
Which I think is a pretty solid list. I feel like that's the era even though we're obviously born like we're kind of 2000s, but we grew up watching the 80s horror movies. Like that was kind of our first introduction to horror.
Yeah, I'm already thinking of a bunch off the top of my head, so I'm excited. But all right. Yeah, so keeping on that same sort of vibe, since we're in spooky season now, I want to recommend for the next episode, we watch one of my favorite horror films of all time, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. One that I haven't watched in a while, but I think it's the scariest film ever made. So it'll be fun to talk about. I know there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so I'm like excited to sort of get into that, how the film was made, the conditions and things like that. So that'll be a good discussion.
Yeah. I haven't seen that in a long time too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have the Blu-ray of it, so we could toss it in. But anyways, thanks everyone for listening to episode 58. If you're still here, thank you 2 times. And also feel free to, leave us a like, follow us on our social medias if you don't.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it if you go onto Apple Podcasts or Spotify and give us a 5-star rating. It helps push the podcast to, wider audiences, which is what we want to do. And thank you guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 59.
Yeah.